Good morning. I'm Andrea de Art, and I'm the owner of Systemic Psychotherapy and Flamenco Psychotherapy. Yes, I'm the systemic psychotherapist. Systemic psychotherapy is a framework in between psychology and other social sciences. We would say that because I'm a clinical social worker, an American social worker, is a clinical social work framework. It's a framework in which we integrate techniques to promote change not only at the individual level, but also at the environmental level. Because we know that the environment influences mental illness and influences disorders. And in a lot of ways, yes, it is a political framework, as it is the field of social work. As you know, because you've seen some of the clips, some of you, if you are watching me on Instagram or on LinkedIn, I have been working on a play, the High Priestess play, which is a book about the reconstruction of the self, which is an important work and summarizes my work in the field of complex trauma. As anybody, right, with integrity and with honesty, I begin with myself. And as you can see, I divide the play in three characters. Malvina, which is my inner child, the traumatized child, the child that is still sweet and made it to heaven because she's sweet. And those actually were the children also that I work with in the streets, in the schools. That's been my life work. The people that I found, the people that moved my heart, and the people that had a lot of suffering. I've had that in my career, a tremendous, we would say, empathy for those in suffering that were also like me, because it is my life story in some way. You see that if you divide it in psychodynamics, in the normal split of psychodynamics, we're using also the Freudian, framework, right? That the psyche, normal psyche, is divided in usually in three categories by definition of Freud, because Freud was the main master on this, on psyche dynamics. In the energy of psyche dynamics, he was a neurologist, and really nobody did a better job than him in defining the structure. So Malvina is the higher self in this way. We have Ayophiel, who plays the high priestess, and she is the self, the ego. Ayophiel, it's a character that's in a lot of ways trying to bring history, or trying to take us back into how we're repeating history, how we keep re-traumatizing ourselves, right? She is the systemic psychotherapist. She is speaking of this complexity of how systems keep building trauma and how we keep re-traumatizing ourselves, and how we humans are the main source of trauma for each other, and how we keep doing this. The third character is Anael. She's the Amazon, she's the warrior, she's the shadow self. She is the one who is the protector and the freedom fighter, right? So if you transfer this to many different lines of work, I think internal family systems therapy also talked about this split in complex trauma. In complex trauma, you would find more entities, not only the three normal characteristics that we're talking about, that's id, ego, and superego. That is the definition of Freud, right? So I began this play really with a normal framework of Freudian framework, to be able to express some of my concerns, my true concerns in terms of psychology, politics, and what I see in the field of trauma. It is a summary of my work in some way, because I've also integrated, and I have to study not only psychology, but other arts to be an artist of psychotherapy, which is what I always wanted to be. A person that would transform suffering into healing. And fortunately for me, I've seen the other end of this struggle. And I, as you know, also integrated flamenco psychotherapy, which is a technique also based in utilizing sublimation as a main technique, the embodiment sublimation, which is one of the hardest achievements or elements in clinical structure or clinical treatment, we would say. In order for us to have self-cohesion, we have to have embodiment, the higher self in the body, and also the full self, the full leadership, the full self energy. So obviously all these different elements of all these different personas that we are, all these different things that we are, we have to find a way to make peace with them, right? To have self-cohesion. That's the main theme, the spiritual theme of this play. It is a play that touches on spirituality, that touches on politics, that touches on freedom too. On freedom of us to have conflict, to tolerate conflict, to tolerate each other, to be able to discuss things that we don't like, and to be able to discern reality with each other, right? So it is a play about redemption. It is a play about saving humanity in some way, saving civilization. I believe in civilization, of course. I'm a psychotherapist. Our fundamental commitment is to the evolution of human beings. So in that commitment, I set it strong, and I'm very grateful to have, at this moment of my career, have a tremendous success in the field of complex trauma, a tremendous success in the field of integrating the work and helping my clients to build self-cohesion, which is also the level in which they all are. I'm very grateful with all of you to have helped me in this country, to support my career, and to help me, because I began in Esmeraldas, Ecuador. I'm a clinical psychologist in my first language, in Spanish, and I was able to transfer my education in the United States. And I'm one of those things that speaks of social mobility. Well, not things, people, right? One of those people that is speaking of social mobility, right? Of the integration of humanity and all of us in diversity and inclusion in this system. Yes, we can be born poor, but we should be able to, at some point, be developed. Unfortunately, I also speak of the systemic issues that the United States is having with these systems, right? Education and health have been treated as if, as in credit systems and branding systems. And it is pretty dramatic, what it has been done to the American people. So I do speak on my idea of freedom, on my ideal of freedom, of inclusion, of integration, of union, and in the salvation of this country. And I hope that you're able to enjoy it. This is a theater play. We will have it as part of flamenco psychotherapy, and we're also integrating other actors and other artists in our play. Have a wonderful day.